just remember the Cardinal Rule, right? Again, I date myself, but this is really what this responds to is the fact that you're human. What's the number one fear for people? Huh? Heights? Oh, you're so lucky. Because that, well, yeah, public speaking. Most people, it's not high, but I understand the height thing. But most of the time, it is the fact that getting up in front of a group and having to talk, right? By the way, I can honestly tell you, you could not do a 5-minute presentation on one breath of air. I've tried. It doesn't work. Because a lot of times what happens is that it's really, I can get myself wound up too, because in a lot of cases, and Heidi will agree with me, one of the worst case scenarios in doing training is doing it in our building to coworkers. Because now it's 2 stories up, and they're up above you, and they're all around you, and so you don't really have control of this either. It's supposed to be a safety minute. Very seldom is it a minute. But you have to get out there in front of people, and you have to talk to your coworkers, and it can be a little intimidating, to have people way above you up here that you're trying to talk to and down here. I actually caught myself getting vertigo one time when I went out there because I looked up, and then I was trying to criticize the CEO of the company, and when I looked down, it was all a blur. I couldn't tell where he was at. I was going, "Where's Lanny?" And they're all like, "He's there." And I'm like, "I can't see him." But you're human. You're going to make mistakes. So you're going to do things that aren't necessarily going to be correct. Sometimes you may use the wrong word. Sometimes you might use the wrong term. The thing is, you want to learn from those mistakes, but at the same time, understand that you're going to connect with people. And to connect with people, you're going to make mistakes. You guys have seen it. If you've attended any of my briefings at all, I'll get up here sometimes, and I wrote the word into the presentation, and I can't pronounce it. I can't say the word for some reason that particular day. It just happens. The brain will not connect with the mouth, and I can't get the word out the right way. So you guys, this is a participation moment, actually, because I'll sit there and I'll go, and I'll try it, and then eventually somebody in the audience will go, "Oh, that's the word." And I go, "Yep, I'm not repeating it, but thank you." It gets the idea across. Just understand that you're going to, there's moments that this is going to happen. I got up in front of 500 people, and I was introducing a colonel, and I forgot his title. Happened. Yeah, Rutro's not. I got 2 colonels with 1 swing, actually, because he's the only colonel that stayed for the whole briefing. I did 8 of these briefings. I had a different colonel every time. He's the only colonel that stayed for the whole briefing and glared at me the whole time. Not only that, but my boss he was the chief of safety, but he was becoming a squadron commander, and that was his new boss. I got 2 colonels with 1 swing. Neither one of them were very happy with me. But these things happen. You can't control these things. They just naturally happen. Either close by reviewing your main points or making the last point and asking for questions. And that's the last one is what I prefer to do. I know that they talk about adult learning, and they say, okay, you should tell them what you're going to tell them what you want to tell them, and tell them what you told them. That drives me nuts, okay? And I think it's good if you're looking at something very technical and you're training on something that's technical, yeah, hearing that 3 times I think is very good. But in a setting like this, I'm not going to do it. But you guys have to decide for yourselves how you want to approach that. But I think by making a last point or getting to the point, and that's why I always put a question mark at the end, because I want your guys' response. And then I think it's also important to understand that you always have a way to improve. But you have to evaluate that training. I disagree with calling these smile sheets. I know that the HR guy I've been working with, he calls these smile sheets. He says, yeah, they give you a good feeling. No, they don't. They tell me how you actually felt during this training. Either through your score or your written comment, something's going to tell me whether or not you liked it or didn't like it. And if you give me your written comments, that gives me a place to improve. And that's what I'm looking for, because I want to evaluate my training. I want to know what I can do to get better, because there's always room for improvement. Any question? I know we could cover a lot more in this area, but given the amount of time and the 2 topics today, this is the areas that I wanted to cover the most. Any questions, comments? I know it's been a long morning. I know it got warm in here all of a sudden. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming today.